2 of For Ilyse. Today I'd like to share all the fun of cooking together as much as I can through video. So today I'm making enchiladas for my boyfriend. Fernando is the name he goes by. It's a recipe that I found online and he seems to like it. Then again, he'll eat anything. Now let's see, where is it? Now before I do any cooking, Fernando has asked me to make sure I don't get any hair in his food. This apparently has been a problem. So, first thing I do is take off the first layer of whatever I'm wearing, especially if it has long sleeves that hair could cling to. And put my hair up in a ponytail. I also turn on all the lights. You'll see that I already have them on. And then I check my arms and fingers for hairs, because my hairs get all over the place. I live in a room with a rug, and anything that gets on the floor gets hair on it. His hair, my hair. Alright, arms, all good. Alright, here we are. This recipe says to measure the dry ingredients into a bowl before anything. We have 3 tablespoons of flour. No, I don't have a tablespoon. I have a plastic spoon. So what I do is I basically do a small spoon in place of a teaspoon, and a heaping spoon in place of a tablespoon, and I hope for the best. Good thing he'll eat anything, right? It's never turned out terribly bad because the smaller ingredients, usually there's a fair bit of give or take with those. 3 tablespoons of flour, a tablespoon of ground chili powder. This is the only spice I keep in a big container because I use it more than anything. Teaspoon of ground cumin. This is kind of dry. I mean, boring. Let me put on a song. When I'm cooking for Fernando, I have my favorite song to play is the one that his mother found that's about a man named Fernando. Right. A teaspoon of cumin. Skipping the garlic powder because he doesn't like garlic. Oops, I forgot to find oregano. I'll be right back. Quarter teaspoon of oregano. That's not worth measuring. Do you measure quarter teaspoons? I have a quarter teaspoon, so it's a little moot point. Quarter teaspoon of salt to taste. You always need more salt, right? I always put in more salt with savory things. Pinch of cinnamon. He doesn't like too much cinnamon. Alright, so the next step, just to make things a little faster, is going to be to open up the cans. I'm supposed to use vinegar, but it's like a teaspoon of vinegar, but I am going to use the juice of my canned olives because it's very bitter. I've had it before. Actually, it's made me throw up because it's so sour. And I'm going to be making olive chicken tomorrow. And I'm going to use a huge can of tomato paste to get my 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, because I'm hopefully making spaghetti and meatballs on day after tomorrow. Alright, so I'm going to open up these cans and I'll see you in the kitchen. Alright. So, while my olive oil is heating, I put 3 tablespoons of olive oil in here. Actually, I'm doubling the recipe, I forgot. So while that's heating, I'm going to go ahead and start some meat. That should be hot enough. Oh yeah, it's good. When you get some meat in here, I'll explain in a minute. Okay, that'll do for starters. This needs its flour mixture, which needs to be stirred up. Yes, stirring up mischief here. What is the recipe then? Okay, so basically, hang on. And a medium-sized hot, overheating heat, warm the oil until it's hot enough so the light sprinkle of flour spice mixture sizzles on contact. Once it's ready, pour in the flour and spice mixture while whisking constantly. Cook until fragrant and slightly deepened in color. About 1 minute. Alright, time to backtrack a little bit. That was a little hectic. So, this recipe asks you to use a frying pan, but I discovered that a frying pan isn't deep enough. I also remembered after I turned off the last video that I needed to do a double recipe, so a regular sized frying pan is even less deep enough. So I'm using a pot, essentially as a frying pan. It called for 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm doubling it, so I put in 6. And I put in a few drops of water so that I would hear them sizzle when my oil was ready. Now while I'm cooking this, I also at the same time try to cook up the taco meat, which is pretty low maintenance. You just put the meat in and it sits there. This is not so low maintenance. Whisk in the tomato sauce. Okay, this is ready. I gotta keep stirring it or it'll burn. And whisk in the tomato sauce. 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. At this point, that's a 1/4 cup for me, and this is going to burn if I'm not quick. Oh yeah, spitting at me. There we go. That's a little much, but I didn't have time to measure there. And next we add the broth. Bit by bit. There's enough liquid that nothing's gonna go up in smoke if I let that sit a minute or two. Let me check on the meat.
Meat's pretty low maintenance, but it's not completely low maintenance. Yeah. The meat I use is fairly lean, so it doesn't shed quite as much fat as burger meats usually do. You have to watch it a little more for sticking to the pan. I might even add a little oil, which I don't really like to do, but... Okay, so this meat, my boyfriend, being Hispanic, likes a lot of tacos, and so I use burger meat, taco meat, and almost everything. Personally, because I'm a dancer, I use turkey burger, ground turkey, because it's lower in fat, and so it's better for my diet. It's not that dancers don't need fat, but we need to be very selective about what kinds of fats we have, because we're using a lot of energy during the day. That is, those of us who are very serious about, you know, the athletic side. Which actually, the company I'm with isn't all that athletic, so I probably do. It's probably overkill. But the idea of being selective about what fats you eat is that different fats give you different types of energy, and dancers need a very long-lasting, steady kind of energy. It doesn't have to be the highest level energy all at once, but it does have to last long enough to make the whole ballet look effortless. And a ballet can last, you know, an hour, and you might be called on to dance at any random time, depending on the show. Okay, so here's the meat. Yeah, I think this is all that will fit here. So I'm just cooking as much as will fit, because even if I don't use it in the enchiladas, I will use it. And whatever's left is going into the spaghetti and meatballs on Saturday. Okay, let's keep stirring this. Okay. Now the veggie broth. I don't actually have veggie broth. I use canned cream of mushroom soup because I have too much of it. And yeah. Okay. I'm going to pour in a little of that. Yeah, okay. So you cook this until it thickens, basically. Alright, and I'm going to keep stirring it once in a while. Now, so, while trouble's heating up, this is the enchilada in the making. I'm going to make this sauce, the double recipe. This sauce makes about 4 of these. It's 5 tortillas. At this stage, it's 5 tortillas folded with a little bit of burger meat cooked inside of each. This burger meat was left over from the last batch I cooked. And now I'm making more for the other enchiladas, which I'm going to freeze. Alright, let me stir this while it thickens. And then let me flip that meat. So basically, I'm going to put, once the sauce is done, I'm going to pour the sauce over these. You measure how much, you just measure a quarter of a single recipe is all you do. And pour it over it. And then you put a little bit of shredded cheese on top and you bake it for 30 minutes. And it's delicious Hispanic food. You can also add jalapenos or other hot peppers. I am out of those right now. Alright, I think that's all I have time for today. Stay tuned if you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for more of these videos. I'll be trying to send them once a week. And also I'll send you the recipe, just in case you want to make it. Bye, have a good week.